Hello, this is Mish, and welcome to The Strain Season 3, Episode 3 review of The Firstborn. Now, warning, spoilers, a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, pause this, go watch the episode, and then come back. So with this episode, we had three main story arcs going on. So we had Ephraim and Mr. Quinlan on one arc, and the other arc was Gus and Angel. Yes, Angel is back after not being around in the entire season so far. The last thing we saw of him was at the end of season 2, when they were fighting over the Lumen, and he ended up helping Satrakian and Quinlan at the end there. So that was the last time we saw him, so we don't know what he's been up to, and we don't find out either. But anyway, so we've got that arc, and also we have Fett and Satrakian. I guess it is a story arc going on there, but it's more, I guess, just cat and mouse. They're just following the other guys. So I'll break it down into three sections. So we'll start with the first main story arc. So we have Ephraim and Quinlan, but the very starting scene, which is very interesting indeed. So it's Ephraim and Kelly, obviously going before Zach was born here. So it's the C-section where Zach was born. So very interesting parallel here to the story of Mr. Quinlan and Zach. So when Zach was born, he was born in an amniotic sac. So that's like a rare situation, and it's called a call. So that's when the sac comes out completely intact, and then they have to break the sac and to get the baby out. So that is rare, but it does happen. And interesting, I guess, points that after you saw that scene, it goes to a scene with Zach and Kelly. Obviously, Kelly's back to how she is now, which is a muncher, or a strigoi, whatever you want to call them. And she's saying to Zach that it was a great omen that happened, and convincing Zach that the master is good. And that really parallels to what is going on later on with Mr. Quinlan. And the next scene we have Fett and Satrakian finding out that the Lumen is stolen. And it's a very funny scene. I really liked it. I always like the scene between Fett and Satrakian. They're really good characters. They're acting really well. And they have great lines with each other as well. So it's funny that Fett actually put a GPS tracking device inside the Lumen. So that's really their story for the most part until the end. So they're just following the Lumen around the city. So then we go back to Ephraim. So back to Ephraim and Quinlan. Now, Ephraim is reading the book, The Lumen, and he's really questioning his intentions. And I really like that. I like that because the last few episodes, I really didn't like the choices that Ephraim made. But this one, when he's questioning it, and he's saying, trading the future of human life on Earth for the soul of my boy. And I liked that he was struggling with that concept. It made me, like Ephraim again, whereas the last few episodes, you kind of, you're pushing him away because he's being a bit of a douche. So after that, we have a flashback to, Quinlan and his history. So that goes right back to the Roman countryside in 58 AD, and he is, it's a freak show, and he's trapped in a cage, and he meets. He's freed by the Huntress. And when freeing him, the Huntress teaches him how to talk and probably read and write and the basics of human life, because he really is just an animal stuck in a cage at that point. Interesting stuff coming out of that as well. I will say something here. I never read the books. And I don't want to read the books until all these seasons have finished and this story concludes here. Then I can start the books. I don't want to start learning about the books now. I'm already into the seasons and these characters. So for me, I'm taking all the stuff that they're saying. Face value, I don't know anything apart from what is going on in the TV show version. So interesting stuff that we got from, the Huntress. She was saying that, Quinlan's half Strig, half human. We already knew that he's the 5th Invictus and the 7th original. I think she's saying Strig. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then it kind of crosses over to a few of the scenes, but the next main one I found, which is kind of, once again, aligns with what was going on back in the Roman flashback with F and Quinlan. It kind of finishes off the situation as to how Quinlan came about. So he was, I guess, the result of a normal marriage or relationship, a baby inside a woman, and then the lady was infected by the master. And for some reason, you don't know why, but the master didn't end up killing her. I think she must have escaped or something happened. And the baby, which is Quinlan, does get the virus, but it doesn't take over. And there's some interesting lines coming from that scene as well, when Ephraim and Quinlan are in the car. Just saying things like the resulting creature would bear the mark, the child would bear the mark, but not carry the plague. And also another interesting point here, if the master dies, Quinlan dies as well. And I guess Ephraim tried to push Quinlan on why, and he just said this awesome line of, 3 weeks ago you didn't know anything, and in 3 weeks from now you'll also not, you'll learn a whole bunch of other new stuff if you're alive. It was a great line, I really liked it. So then we go back to Rome, which is another main point, and I guess more character progression for Quinlan, more information. So there's a camp, and the master sends the Strigoi there, and they find Quinlan. So then the Quinlan destroys them, but then Quinlan and the Huntress have to leave because the master knows where they are. So they trek across a few areas. Fantastic scenes, those ones. Sometimes it did look quite CGI and fake, but I still quite liked it. I quite like that. Yeah, it's hard to describe. Even though it does look fake, I still think it looked good. But anyway, so yeah, then they hide out in a cave, and the master tracks them down, smashes the cave door, and says, this situation, your true self will come out. And it doesn't. Quinlan fights it the whole way, and the Huntress actually has she's probably starving, or just dying from old age, because back in 58 AD, you wouldn't live that long. She looked pretty old at that point. Great acting by her, though. I quite liked that character. And yeah, she cuts herself, saying, just feed on me, and then you can get the strength to actually get out of here alive, and don't fight him yet. And it was good to see that he did that. I thought he was going to go against it and fight him, and it was going to be a bad situation, but it was good to see someone listening to, I guess, an authority figure or someone wiser than them, and actually listening and actually, being a successful situation in this TV show. So yeah, he listened to him and kind of tricked the master to get on the other side of him by the door and ran away. So that was pretty cool to see. And obviously there was a moment there where the Huntress was saying, whilst Quinlan probably can't love, she loves him. They spent a lot of time together. I think it was about 3 years. And, she was saying, I feel like your mother. And he was saying, mother. And so it was a nice moment. And moving on to the next main situation, we'll talk about Gus and Angel at the later part, but just want to finish this main kind of arc here with Quinlan and Ephraim. So then, I guess, you learn all the information about Quinlan, go back to Ephraim and Quinlan together in the car, and they track down a Strigoi and capture it, and then talk to the master through that Strigoi. Then they organise a time to meet to do the trade of the lumen for Zank. So it's on a dock, a fishing point that they used to go to. So obviously, old Fett and Satrakian are following them along in this whole way as well. And then, so the meeting happens. And I got this completely wrong from what I said last week. Well, initially, I was right. So there was a betrayal. It wasn't Zack at all. It was obviously just a Strigoi child. And then they take the lumen whilst Ephraim's fighting the Strigoi child. I don't know where Quinlan was when this was going on. There was a couple of minutes there where he was a bit late to the party. He must have got stuck in traffic or something. I don't know. But yeah, he turns up and starts helping. So he takes out, a goon, the master's goon that was there. And if you noted as well, he was in army gear or navy gear. The fight scene between Ephraim and Kelly, and obviously the child Strigoi, Ephraim using the lumen in the fight was very comical. I really enjoyed that. I'm always surprised at how comical the strain can be. And that might be a bit of a morbid sense of humour I have, but I did enjoy it, and it made me laugh a lot. So yeah, good fight scene, and yeah, it was funny. Funny use of the lumen. And so whilst you think the Master's in trouble, all of a sudden the I guess the old Navy SEALs turn up. And that's seen by Fett. So Fett says, "Look, the Navy SEALs are coming. They're my Navy SEALs boys." And they look at him, and they're actually turned. So they're Strigoi, but they're still using their weapons and still moving like as they were. So they must be turned, the special way that makes them actually still hold a component of themselves and under the Master's control. So they start destroying Quinlan, poor old Quinlan, and then Satrakian and Fett throw those grenades. The custom-made ones from Season 2, I think it was. I think it was actually Satrakian made them. So yeah, they, temporarily take out the Navy SEALs. They're not dead, but they're just, they're on the ground in agony. They won't be getting up for a while. And then one hits the Master as well. Then, surprisingly, Quinlan takes out the Master. Whilst you think, he's taken out his physical form. So Bolivar is gone. But you can see the big worm, the big Strigoi slithers off before anyone can get to it. So, yeah, interesting situation there. Now let's quickly just talk about Angel and Gus. So their situation is pretty easy to understand. So Gus is feeding his mum blood all the time, and he's at the point where he's near death. And Angel comes along, finds him, tries to help out, have a big argument, and then their apartment gets raided anyway. So they try and move, not a very clever idea, but try and move Gus's mum out of the situation. He's obviously not right with what he's thinking here, but they try to do it anyway. They get caught, kill a guard, and then they're taken to, I guess, you think it's a prison initially, but it's not. They're conscripted into the guard, so they're going to be involved with clearing apartments and clearing the city, which is a good idea. I don't know how they're going to control them, but we'll find out. But it was good to see that character development. It's good to see Angel back because I like that character. And I don't know why Gus is trying to save his mum. He's seen the situation. I don't know why he's kind of reverted back to that situation. There was a shot there where he was holding his mum, trying to put the helmet on, and the focus was on a Christian statue of Mary. So it's interesting. I guess for me, that's kind of suggesting that Gus is still clinging on to his faith that his mother, that his mother will return. But I think we know that she's not. But he obviously is clinging to that. So yes, the summary, pretty good episode. I really enjoyed the twists and turns at the end. It was definitely building up to that. I didn't see it coming. That's what I probably like the most about the strain, is I don't think you can often predict where it's going to go. Sometimes it's quite predictable, and sometimes it's way off the chart, which is why it's so hard to gauge it. But it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy the episode. It was good development on the Master. So the Master is down, and what's going to happen with that? It's going to be interesting to see. Who is he going to host now? What's going to be the situation? Possibly it's going to be Icorst. That could be a possibility. Maybe Icorst will be hiding down there. So who's the parasite going to take over now? Icorst is one option. Maybe Zach? No, I don't know about that. But I mean, there's the interesting parallel on how he, as I said, that strange birth that he had. And it was kind of referencing to the, being an omen, being very special, and the whole Born story we have. So there's definitely a parallel there. There's definitely a reason they did that. So there's something special about Zach in the Master's eyes. But I guess it's positive for the good guys. So they've got the Lumen. They did a massive blow to the Master. Obviously took out his current host. So that's going to set the Master back a bit. They took out the Navy SEALs, which the Master had taken. So, I mean, positive, but not a lot of, story. The story definitely moved, but then it's kind of reset back to how it was before. In saying that, though, there was obviously going to be some issues between Fett and Satrakian and Ephraim and Quinlan, there'll be obviously a big argument there because they stole the Lumen. So they won't be happy about that. Interesting to see where that will go as well. But yeah, all in all, it was a good episode. I liked it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you liked it, what your thoughts are, and let me know if you're enjoying the TV show, and let me know if you're enjoying these videos as well. It's good to get some feedback. And subscribe if you are enjoying them, as it really helps me out. And until next time, cheerio.